Painting is so fun. Hi, hello, welcome back to the studio. As always, I am Cooper, your favorite painting teacher. Today we're back at it, painting my little society of dolls. I encourage you to follow along, and without further ado, we're gonna open up the box, make a little composition, and get started. So let's get into it. Composition time. Okay, who have I not featured yet? Should we? You know, maybe. Hear me out. What if we... I've got my little bellhop. I have him holding his head, but it doesn't have to be that. What if we had him... Ooh, wait. What about this guy with the green hair? Oh my goodness, I need to be careful. These are delicate. Wow. Look at this guy. Something I like about them both looking this way. And then maybe one more person here. Oh my. Look at this, the graduate. Oh, these legs are so mangled. Now, okay, good composition, but a little too crowded. I think, let's leave him out for now. And let's just do this. Let's do these two. Oh no, oh no. Oh dear. Okay. Oh no. Someday I'll make a stand for them, but today they're gonna just have to behave. They're gonna have to get along. Oh my gosh. I think you could stand there. You could look here. Oh yeah, gross. And yeah, there's something about that I like. Okay, so go ahead and take a screenshot of that, and then we're gonna get rolling. Okay, here we go. I think with this composition, we're actually gonna do a portrait orientation. And again, we're gonna work back to front, largest brushes down to our smallest brushes, and put in our midtones first, and then highlights and lowlights. That's sort of how we build and sculpt a painting. So let's begin. I think we can just do the red background again. I think there's something about the maroon that I like. Yeah. So, like I said previously, I'm a big fan of the sponge. So we're just gonna lay down an initial layer. I think we'll just do the whole thing, just a light layer as a starting point, and then also a little hot tip for those of you watching at home, which is everybody. If you go to Home Depot, you can get these really big sponges for super cheap. And if you have a pair of scissors, you can just cut them in half. I find them to be a little unruly at this size, but if I cut them in half, I get to ruin two separate sponges, and they're much easier to handle. So that's the game. If I'm trying to get a good crimson or magenta, I think I'm gonna do mostly red, mostly some just primary red, or just fine, let's do magenta. Magenta and ultramarine. We're gonna make this a little more of like a dark lavender, but we're gonna lean red, so it will still end up being closer to that color. I'm gonna take some of my matte medium to extend it a little bit. This also makes your paint show your brush strokes and bristles a little more, which is fine. We're doing a very brushy style of painting with the kinds of brushes we use. And I'm only gonna use like 5 brushes. I think I've got big, medium, and then a couple smaller ones. And I don't even have one that's that small. You don't need it for what we're doing. You can if you want at home, but for my demonstration purposes, this is enough. Okay. I'll wet my sponge. Sponge wetting sounds. Really load it up as like so. Here we go. We're just gonna go light pressure back and forth. Back and forth, back and forth. Light pressure. Like ocean waves. And then just keep going, back and forth. Just enough pressure to get that white off of there. Good. Oh yeah, I'm getting excited about this. Painting is so fun. It's nice to have an outlet to just be free. That's what the studio is, really. Freedom. When you're in the studio, you are the absolute final say on everything that happens. And that kind of freedom you don't get in the real world. Okay, good. Now we're gonna do a second pass with more color, and I'm gonna put in my shadows. So I'm gonna have two figures in here. So like we did with the horse on episode 1, I'm just gonna block in vaguely where I think there's gonna be shadows. And in fact, let's mix more. But you can see what we're doing, right? We're working back to front. Let's just do it again. More magenta with a little more ultramarine. Painting in the studio. Did I mention I used to be a musical theater kid? I'm a retired. This is not the right sponge. This is what I get for leaving them both on the table. Oh well. Okay. Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah. Uh-huh. You get it. It's loose. But you want to make sure that you're not having the darker part of the shadow further away from the figure, because that makes no sense. Always has to be, see, I'm doing it right here. Just gonna brush that out. Oh. Yeah, let's loosen this up a little. Sure. Oh no, there we go. Yeah. Brushy. Okay, step 1 achieved. Now let's look at the dolls. Pull in close to this, pull in close. I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm thinking, let's do the figure on the right first, since the pants are behind those of the figure on the left. We're gonna do the figure on the right. So first thing I wanna do is I wanna block in my head and then the head that it's holding, because I wanna make sure I get those placements right, because that will really cue me into where to put the arms and legs. I don't want anything to be too disproportionate. So these are pretty light. I think we'll just use the magenta. Wait, let's just use the magenta we already mixed and just add white to it. I got more white since we ran out last time. Special moment. We're uncorking the new white paint, but it's not coming off, so I'm just gonna jam it with this palette knife. Someday I'll do these videos where you can also see the palette, but not today. Okay, yes. Yes, this is feeling good. Now this bellhop has a very silly little bellhop hat, and I'm gonna keep that in as best I can because I think it's fun. We're gonna do medium brush for this. So I'm gonna wet my brush just slightly and really load it up, load it with paint. And now I'm looking, and I'm looking, and I'm looking, and I'm looking. And I'm thinking, I think ear here, oh, and then just gonna go up and over and down, and then ear here. And then we'll just give it a little, pull it around like that. And we're mixing with the magenta that's already on there, which is good because this was a little too light before. I can kind of give myself some guidelines. You see that I already kind of have like where the nose is gonna go. It's gonna kind of end there. And I can kind of just push some paint around a little bit initially to kind of give myself some guidelines. Whoa. Okay, so now let's do the other head. It's gonna be something like, it's a long head. Yeah, something like that. And then an ear there. And let's leave that for now. Something about the hands. There's gonna be hands at some point, but we're gonna come back to that, I think. because right now we're just going to block some stuff in. Let's do, there's a shirt and there are some arms. I think arms first, then shirt actually. So let's take our raw Sienna Yellow. So, just gonna pull this in here. Yes. Yes. And then same deal here. There we go. Using the pressure, my brush. It's happening. Okay, now just some straight up primary red for the shirt. And if I need to build this up later, I can, but for now, I'm just gonna lay out some red. So I'm just trying to have fun with you. So I'm looking. I think there's some red peeking out here. So we're gonna just kind of put that in. Maybe same thing over here. I think it'll just make it pop a little. And then pushing that in. And then coming down and over and down again. Good, bellhop hat. I think let's do something like, yeah, just something like that. Oh dear. What will we do? We've gotten paint on the head. We'll just paint over it, it's fine. Not to worry. Okay, so we're at this point, and I think the next thing we need to do, block in the pants, shoes, and then we'll do second passes on the faces and pop the hands in. And then we'll be done on this side. Game plan. So let's get into it. More of a crimson for the pants, which is fine. Got some crimson. Slather it on there. The old lather slather. Yeah, I want the same size brush. I don't need to go small for this. Most of what we need to do, we can accomplish with our middle brush. When people rely too much on the little brushes, they get stuck in like over rendering these little moments, which is how some people work, but I think actually it can get in the way of a good painting sometimes. Okay, so I'm just gonna follow my shadow marks. I've sort of like laid out initially some legs. So I think there. Ooh, I had a little paint on my brush from before and it kind of like mixed on the palette and did kind of a cool thing. I need to pull this over. Good. I'm happy with that. Now, let's do something like that. Good. There's still some of this red on there, but I think it's different enough. But let's make it a little darker. Yeah, as my brother Caleb says, good enough. So we've done that. Let's throw some definition in up here too while we're at it. And now, let's work top to bottom. It's better to work top to bottom sometimes because if you're working a little more fluidly, then if anything drips, you don't want to spend all this time in the middle, then to go to the top and then have that drip onto the middle. So let's do the top first. Now I am going to go down to a smaller brush. And I think I'm going to work with a little bit of my, what color is this? Venetian Red with some white. And we'll do our low lights. And this is not the same color base as what we were using, but today that's fine. I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to go over here. Wow. It's very interesting what I'm doing. Actually, I hate it. Let's change it. You can always change it in painting. I'm gonna go back to that sort of magenta we made and just lighten it a little. Good. Pull this off. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Okay, yeah, good. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Things are starting to happen. I don't know. I'll just do a little here. Ooh. Yes. And don't freak out. I know that looks like it's a lot, but we're just going to keep, now we're going to go on with our highlights, and that will balance everything out. So let's look. Let's look. Yeah. Yeah, good. Good. Yes. Sort of sculpting in some light. We have cast light from the right. We're just going to stick to that. Yeah. So let's grab just let's just indicate a little bit poking through on that side, but not too much. Mostly it's going to live on the right side. So that. Okay, what else? What else does this face have? Let's go in with a pretty dark color now. Because again, our dolls have some painted on features, right? Like we know that our dolls always have these black lines as the starting point for their eyes. And sometimes they paint on that part too. Ominous. Let's see. Okay. Now, this always happens in the middle. It always looks crazy in the middle, but the secret really is just keep going and something will happen. Something exciting will start to happen. The eyes are not anything to write home about. I think let's make them blue. They're kind of just a gray in the source material, but I think it would be nice if it was a color that kind of pulled focus away from the color palette that we already have. So I'm gonna throw some blue on here. I'm just gonna twist the brush. And in fact, I left a little red on there, so it's kind of doing something weird here, which I actually like. Yeah. How's the bellhop hat looking? I think let's just, there we go. Yes. And then pull that in. Okay. I believe it. Now we're going to go in that section with just some white, just a little bit of white, dot in that in here to let everyone, oh, that's too much. That's too much. So we're going to pull some of that off because the paint's still wet. So let's pull everything off our brush. And we'll just use our brush to sort of just pull that. I'm trying to figure out because it's going to be circle shape. So I think I'll just come around like a reversed C. Pull that out. Yeah, I like that much better. Same thing on this side. Pull that out. Okay. We lost the red there, but that's okay. Now we have these glassy-eyed face, which is fine because that's how these dolls are. Now the last thing we're going to do with this face is we're going to put the red lipstick back in. I like the ominousness of the red lipstick that they all have. Okay, great. Now, if I really wanted to, I could really define this shirt with lots of texture and really go to town on it. But I have to ask myself which battles to fight. Do I find that is going to be really necessary? I could go in with some cross hatching, for example, or I could dot in a bunch of stuff. On your painting, you decide. Again, you are the divine creator. You have the final say with what goes in the painting. But for demo purposes, I'm gonna leave this here for now. But I am gonna do one more thing. I think it would be good if we separated the chin from the shirt. So I'm gonna go in again with this sort of crimson color and just pull in a little bit there. Yeah, I think that does a good job delineating those two areas. Let's do something here too. Just grab that a little so that we can integrate these sections. Good. Now, face, hands, then we're done with this side. So let's pull in on the dolls. Okay, so we've pulled in. Now I think we're gonna block in some magenta. It's gonna be great. Yeah, good. Okay, ready? I think strong cheekbones here. So we're gonna go, oh no, not dark enough. Darker, darker we say. Okay. I think something like that. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh, I'm excited now. Look at that. Cool. Sure. Little nose there. Oh, that's too much. Uh-oh, we're gonna overwork this. Just come in one more time. Leave it. Okay, let's go down to a smaller brush now. I can already tell it's time. So let's throw the hair in. This lady's just got some of the raw sienna, just straw hair. And it's kind of just wavy, so let's just pick a point for it to start like that. And then, yeah. Well, let's make sure it goes clearly past here. We want to make sure we're communicating that things overlap. There we go. Now let's do the same thing over here. We're just going to keep wiggling our brush. There we go. Yeah, good. Have it come out a little more too. It has to go clearly past some of this stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good. Okay, and then some eyebrows. Okay. Let's put in the what do we call it? Eyes. That's what they're called. So I think these are like a red or an orange. I'm gonna mix some of my raw sienna with my just red, make sort of this orangish color. So now we're just gonna go bloop, bloop. God, painting is so fun. Okay, great. Then all these dolls have metal pins in their eyes. So let's do metal pin 1, metal pin 2. Oh, this could be darker. I'm gonna take some raw ultramarine just to drive this point home. 1, 2, and then I need my little, they're metallic, so we need our little reflecting light point. Here we go, ready? Let's like zhuzh that a little though. Yeah. Yeah, good. Okay. Good. Now, we're gonna do lips, nose. I might call it good there. Yeah. So the nose can also be this sort of ultramarine. Put a little red in there so it's not so strong. And also, I think I'm gonna come back to these because I think these are competing with the eyes, and I don't want that actually. There we go. Yeah. Let's make this a little redder. And I can go over these and they'll disappear a little more. Well, at least be quieter. They were just too loud before. Yeah, good. There we go. You see how that's better? Okay. Now, lipstick. Some lipstick here. Pull the paint off my brush. Might even wet it. Red, just some raw red. Let's go up and over and down. And then same thing on the bottom, just push that in for some lips. Oh, painting. Okay, hands. I'm gonna throw some hands in for our figure holding this head. And I've got coming down here, so let's just do, and they're gonna come out a lot. So we're just gonna take over this here and just do something like this. Yeah. Okay, and then on the right side, load up my brush again, and I'm looking and I'm seeing that it's gonna be something like that. Yeah, and they should overlap a little so that you know that he's actually holding her head. Yeah, now I'm just gonna come in with some shadows for the shirt. So that's my raw sienna, but it's gonna be darker this time. More muted. Just gonna pull in my, it's too light. Darker, darker, I say. Dark. Oh my gosh. Well, it works over there. See that? But over here, I want it even darker. It's not dark enough. Okay, ready? We're gonna really darken it now. Yeah, good. 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 Okay. Right side done. All right. So, halfway there. Now we're gonna do the figure on the left. So let's look at the dolls. I'm looking and I'm seeing how everything's laid out. I think we're gonna do the face, then the orange and the tan, and then the browns last. Okay, let's do it. Got some paint loaded up, and I think I've got this head. It needs to sort of be here, and then there's a nose, but I kind of want it in general sort of angled down because it's going to be looking at this horrendous sight, which is a head happening over here. And then there's a hand here, and there's a hand there. Okay, now I start to put in the arms and legs. So let's go to the orange. And we're gonna stick with this size of brush and just pull everything off of it. Do like an orange. Oh. Let's go with, just got paint everywhere. It's got so much yellow paint everywhere. I promise I'm competent. Oh no, there goes Cooper. Getting paint everywhere. All right. No, it's much pinker than what I'm seeing. Yeah, good. Okay. So, put that in there-ish. It's gonna be in here-ish. And then it's gonna be over here-ish. Okay. And again, we're letting the direction and the pressure of our brush do a lot of the work for us. All the strokes are consistent. They sort of tell your eye that it's one kind of fabric form. Now, we're Just going to introduce some blue to this and dull it down, and then that will be our sort of medium tan color. Sure. Yeah, we're going to do something pretty neutral, pretty muddy. It's not different enough, actually. Where's my phthalo? So I'm just trying to go with like a light muddy brown, and then I'll do a dark muddy brown after. Yeah. Got kind of this. Yeah, I like that. Let's just throw that on there. Should I be going down to my smaller brush? Yes. But will I? No. Because I'm lazy. And if I start getting too precious about it, then it's going to start to distract me from the rest of the painting. Just pull that in there. Just grab that. It's like a bathrobe type style. Yes. Okay, good. There might even be another like slash there. Okay, now we're going to go in with our darkest brown. Let's cut back to the doll. You can see I could put all this floral stuff in on the medium color that I just laid in, but I'll leave that to you. I will go in with this sort of chocolate brown though, this sort of dark chocolate. So we make brown with the 3 primaries, giving priority to red and yellow. So I'm going to lay in some red and some phthalo. I'm trying to do my warm primaries because that will give me more of a brown. I have so much yellow already that I'm just going to... That's funny, this is kind of the color I was expecting the first time. Let's throw some Venetian in there and just do some Venetian phthalo mix. Yeah, that's more what I was thinking. Cool, okay. So I'm looking, I'm gonna do, yes, okay. Okay. Sometimes you gotta look back and forth. We're gonna do cuff links, or not cuff links, but decorations. 1, over here 2, and then also in here, just gonna press this in. And then some legs are gonna form. Good. Leave that there. Good, yes. Good, yes. Now let's throw some in here, and then more in here as well. Okay, pretty good. So, oh, the head. Let's do the head now. Forgot I didn't do the head. Yes. I gotta be careful here. I'm gonna overwork it. I think that's the general vibe. Okay, good. All right, home stretch. So we're gonna do highlights, lowlights to sculpt in the face, the hair, a couple touch-ups, and then we're done. So let's look at the dolls one more time. Okay, let's do it. Lowlights, I think. Something like this, I think. Yeah, I think we're gonna do something that sort of comes in and then like that. Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Already. So much work done. Great. So, okay, let's do our highlights. We're just giving form to the face, doing a little bit of a sculpt. Consistent light with the other figures. And let's do something like there and there, here and here and something there, as well as here. Let's also give the same treatment to the hands. Let's give the hands a little love. I think, yeah. Good. And this is going to dry one shade darker, so don't worry too much if you think that's too light. Eyes are red on this particular doll, which is easy because we already have some red loaded up, ready to go. So, oh, should I? I should. Let's do the eye makeup move first. By eye makeup, I mean the black guidelines that the fabricator made. So I think just light pressure. And it's not supposed to line up completely, so we're just gonna do something like that. Yeah. Is there formal eyebrows? There are. Okay, ready? Watch this. Big aggressive eyebrows. Ooh. Deep concern is what we call that. Okay. Oh, the hair. Let's do the hair while we're here. It's bright green hair. And I've already got a bunch of blue on my brush. So let's see what happens if I just smear this back and forth. Let's do a couple over here, but let's mostly do them here. Done. Let's just leave it like that. Sometimes it's fun to just let it mix on your brush. Okay, so now we're gonna do the red eyes. So, it makes me laugh every time. They're so crazy looking. Generally, I don't like the term crazy because it's dismissive, but same thing with stupid. It's not explanatory, it's not useful. But in this case, they're just, oh, actually, I want them to look down. Yeah, okay, good. Okay. Ready? We're about to finish the painting. 1, 2. That's it. We're gonna leave it there. We will do a little bit of touch-ups now, but just real quick. I could spend a lot of time doing touch-ups and dialing this in, but I'll leave that to you. And again, all the paints that I've used in this video, you can find in the description, as well as a link to an email to send your finished paintings to. I'd love to see what you've done. So as promised, we're just gonna fix that, quiet that down. I think also I'll take this opportunity to make this feel a little more resolved. Good. I'll throw one eyebrow on there, one there too. And then, yeah, let's just make sure everything has the same level of light without ruining everything we've done. Hands, let's give the hands over here some more definition. Same with this, well, just a little bit of this one, not too much. And there we go. Let me know what you think in the comments. Send me your artwork to the email that I just mentioned. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.